You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Maria Tanwatco Trillo. Our source today, Albay 1st District Representative Edcel Lagman. Congressman, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Now, you have filed House Bill number 78, or the Absolute Divorce Act. Tell us why, again, is it about time for the Philippines to legalize divorce?
First of all, let me emphasize, Ria, that the divorce bill is a sequel to the reproductive health law, which I also authored, because in both measures, the woman is a central figure and her rights are invoked, protected, and fulfilled. We are the only country in the world, aside from the almost celibate Vatican City-State, which do not have absolute divorce or have not legalized absolute divorce. All other countries have done so in varying liberalities. And I think that these countries would not be committing a blunder in their unanimity or universality in decreeing absolute divorce in the respective countries.
No, Congressman, the history of this divorce bill, if you look back, it didn't pass in the 17th and 18th Congresses. What are the chances of it being passed now in the 19th?
Well, in the first place, during the 17th Congress, this bill was already passed on final and third reading by the House of Representatives. During the 18th Congress, this bill was also approved by the Committee on Population and Family Relations, but it was marooned in the Committee on Appropriations because of the pandemic. Now, I think with the new position of the House of Representatives as well as the Senate and the favorable reaction of President Marcos Jr. on the enactment of a divorce law, I think I am very positive this 19th Congress will finally enact an absolute divorce law, and we are going to join all other countries, but the Vatican, in legalizing absolute divorce.
Congressman, help us understand why divorce is necessary when in the Philippines there is at least already annulment and legal separation as options.
Well, the legal separation and annulment proceedings grant are not sufficiently adequate to bail out couples, particularly wives, from a battered situation and from marriage which is irremediably destroyed and without any possibility of reconciliation. I think, Ria, that the state should be able to give rescue to couples, particularly women and children, from a house on fire. And this absolute divorce decree is constitutional because no less than the commissioners of the Constitutional Commission of 1986-87 were unanimous in their consensus or opinion that the Congress can legislate or enact a divorce law, despite the fact that the Philippines acknowledges the family as the basis of marriage as the basis of the family and a social institution, because the government should not abandon couples with distress and where there is no possibility of reconciliation.
Congressman, do you think President Marcos will support this new divorce bill?
I have read that during the campaign, he said that he was in favor of a divorce law.
All right, so you remain hopeful on that. Okay, let's talk about the Human Rights Defenders Bill. You want President Marcos to support the Human Rights Defenders Bill, of course. Talk to us about what exactly is the intent of the bill.
Let me say that the emergence of human rights defenders is an indictment of the failure of the government to fully protect human rights. In other words, human rights defenders are surrogate protectors because the state has defaulted. And considering that the president has promised to fully support human rights, both in his uh, initial announcement after his election and in his interaction with foreign parties. I think there is a great possibility that this bill on the protection of human rights defenders will be enacted by the 19th Congress. It was already passed on third and final reading by the House of Representatives during the 18th and the 19th Congresses. The passage was unanimous,
All right.
but it was not done by the Senate because of limitations.
Can you tell us, sir, in more detail about how this bill will boost the human rights situation in the Philippines?
Well, definitely, it would enhance the protection and fulfillment of human rights because here we have stipulated what are the rights of human rights defenders from association, advocacy, and sourcing of funds to the government's or governmental authorities' obligation to protect human rights defenders and to avoid persecuting unduly or threat tagging human rights defenders.
Now, Congressman, speaking of human rights, do you feel that the Philippine government should cooperate in the possible resumption of the ICC probe on the Duterte administration's war on drugs?
Definitely, because the bloody war against drug pushers, users, and agents breached the limits of human rights protection. And I think the present government should be able to cooperate with the International Court of Justice and its prosecutors in determining whether there was human rights violations or sins against humanity in the campaign, in the violent campaign against drugs during the Duterte administration.
Congressman, we need to take a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Maria Tanwat Trillo, and our source today is Albay Congressman Edcel Lagman. Good morning once again, Congressman. Okay, let's talk about other issues right now. Your colleague, Congressman Arnulfo Teves, he wants to change the name of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport to Ferdinand Marcos International Airport. Your thoughts on this, sir?
There is no reason, even factually, said that because the National Airport has been there law and has been operational before the incumbency of the late President Marcos Sr. And I think it is very fitting to name the international airport Ninoy Aquino International Airport because the late Ninoy Aquino represents the human rights victims during martial law. He died at the very tarmac of said airport. And that name has been institutionalized and there is no valid or overwhelming reason to change the name.
Do you think this will prosper in Congress?
I think there will be many who would oppose this bill. I am one who is going to oppose this measure because it is no factual basis and also would even promote further disunity because human rights victims during martial law administration will definitely oppose this measure.
Congressman, speaking of the opposition, how many are you in the opposition or minority bloc in Congress right now? And given the numbers, do you feel that you have a weaker voice there?
Well, we have most probably 10 or less members in the political opposition or in the minority. And I think we will be able to fully advocate the position of the minority and have civil and reasoned opposition, provided that the House leadership will not anoint uh, a minority leader of their choice, will be an adjunct of the majority. That is why I have been calling on the new leadership of the House of Representatives to allow the minority members, who are few, to select their own leader and to become the minority leader.
All right, sir. Now, on to term limits. Do you support proposals to extend the term of the president to 10 years by allowing them to run for re-election with 5 years per term? Congressman Don Gonzales says that this is for the continuity of programs, and he cited what happened to former President Duterte, saying that he did not have enough time to implement the programs he wanted.
Well, in the first place, 6 years, 6 years without re-election is long enough for a president. And if we speak about President Duterte, then I think that that 6 years period was really enough, because more than 6 years of the Duterte administration would really further destroy our democratic institutions and violate basic human rights. 6 years is enough without re-election. And if continuity is being called for, then the next president should be in alliance with the previous incumbent, so that the policies of the previous incumbent should be pursued. But if there is a failure on the part of the president, then that failure should end after 6 years with a new president being elected periodically.
All right, thank you for that, sir. Thank you, Congressman, for being here. That was Albay 1st District Representative Edcel Lagman. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Ria Tanwat Cotrillo. You're watching CNN Philippines.